Hello. For legal reasons, everything said in this video is a joke, and if anything seems a little real, you should go on your own and do any research yourself. Nothing is true! Nothing! Don't look into it! Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the HollowNet. Today we're going to be digging deep on one of the islanders, one of the island boys, one of the boys who likes to go to the island where no one else is allowed. And it's kind of like Neverland. Anything's allowed. Everything in your imagination's allowed. So the man we're talking about today is a man named Larry Connor. I noticed it due to this big image going around showing a bunch of dots on people who visited Epstein's Island and speculated all across the United States. And one dot in particular was something I was intimately familiar with. So I did some digging, did some research, and I found this. So this infamous picture that was floating around the internet, it had specks all over the United States. And I noticed there were two in Ohio, one in the Cleveland area. I'm not from there, I don't know anything about it. It's essentially useless to investigate that. The other dot, however, when overlaid with with my local area, I was like, hang on a minute. That looks like not only a vague place I know, but the exact place that I know very well. Read between the lines here. So I'm looking into it, and I type in a very quick Google. Richest person in Ohio. Not vague at all, or super vague rather. Up comes the name Larry Connor. About him, it immediately says essentially like, where's Larry Connor live? Miamisburg, Ohio. And that is a very scary thing to discover for a lot of reasons. Where were we? So after I looked this up, it immediately connected all the dots for me. Not only does an evil person potentially live in a town extremely close to me, but that it immediately connected a lot of dots together in my own personal life. But before we get into all that, let's just go over a few things that Mr. Larry Connor is known for. He's known for being a multi-billionaire working in the real estate industry. They're currently doing better than even BlackRock or Blackstone, a subsidiary or partner company of BlackRock. We all know these things. And he's buying up real estate in pretty much every single major city, making the cost of living for people like me and you skyrocket. I know, crazy. Always jacking up prices, even mid-rent, at least so people say on like Reddit and stuff. Leaving the properties dilapidated and unmaintained, meanwhile doing nothing but causing the price to go up. Something I'd like to also mention is earlier, maybe just now, I was brought up the fact that his company's history with customer service or customer satisfaction seems to be very, very, very shitty and very like sketchy. Even the people who worked there, I'm sure I'll post like a little screenshot. Even the people there think it's like a shell company, think it's weird, think it's fucked up. But the actual customers, they'll have their rent jacked up mid-pay cycle, bad maintenance. We're talking fees and billing discrepancies, unprofessional or unresponsive staff, and overall tenant experiences in the gutter. Thanks, Grok. That one was powered by Grok. I'm sorry, but I had to use it somewhere. What I'm getting to here is if there's too many contradicting things here. You can't be Mr. Saint around, your own town, but be like just a scumfuck, just an evil BlackRock wannabe to everybody else. That doesn't make much sense because you're either Mr. Good Guy out of the kindness of your heart. I love my community and my countrymen. America's where I grew up. Or it's like
This to me is so blatantly, so unbelievably blatantly. I live here. I can't. I don't want them. I don't want them mad at me. I don't want them to even know I'm here because as a person from the area, he's a ghost. He has nowhere in the community. He doesn't show up for anything. He doesn't do anything. He probably ships his children off to like, I don't know, fucking Harvard. I don't, but I'm not saying you have to go to public school to not be like a Satanist fucking weirdo. But this entire investigation has gone off based off of an Epstein flight log. Granted, I want to reiterate, could it not be him? Yes, it might not be him. It could be one of his business accomplices. It could be one of his children. It could be his pilot. I don't know. No matter what, somehow he's connected. This is my first little foray into all this, but I'm genuinely thinking that there is no such thing on this earth as a good and like clean billionaire. It's not a thing unless you're like born into a royal family or something, and it's like something you've been building up since 1000 AD. I think if you're a billionaire, you're probably a fucking cunt. Like you can't get there without breaking necks on your way up and fucking stepping on thousands of people. It's just not a fucking thing. Have you ever made 100,000? Oh, you have? Okay, good. I'm sure, okay, you can probably make 100K, be a cool guy. You can probably make $1 million and be a cool guy. Fuck it. You can probably make 10 million, be a cool guy. 100 million, getting rare, getting very rare there. Billion, you're a cunt. Trillionaire, you're Satan. I don't know. Fuck you. And these people are buying up every ounce of real estate, buying up every apartment, every house. They're taking big houses and splitting them into 4 quadrants so that 4 families can live there for rent every day and rent every month. And let me tell you, because I live here, ex-mailman personally, I've been going through Dayton quite a bit.
Is that town in the Czechoslovakian enclave and all the Freemasons?
And we're very, very, very north. Very north. Half of the city speaks Spanish. It's Ohio. We're fucked. Everything's fucked. Anywho, it seems like whenever Mr. Connor isn't busy shitting all over his residents, it looks like his residents are busy trying to shit all over him. I just stumbled upon a little Facebook group called Tenants United Against the Connor Group, something along those lines. I've never seen a group of over 2,000 people unionize kind of like grassroots style in opposition to a rental company. I don't think that's normal. I think it's kind of weird. I certainly haven't seen it this big. I don't know. It's just maybe I'm out of the loop. It's certainly something to keep in mind. I'm telling you, man, he's evil. Something's wrong with him.
So, when he's not doing astronaut stuff, when he's not buying up every house in your neighborhood and making it a rentoid place so you can't own anything, you're going to own nothing and be happy. He's being a philanthropist. Fuck, he's being a philanthropist. He's giving money to people. And particularly, I am under the mind that he's essentially paying for his sins. Giving, what are they called? When you pay the church to go to heaven, that type of thing. He's, in my mind, Mimesburg, the town that he resides, I worked there. I worked in the Parks and Rec department, and I helped maintain the parks. I helped maintain, just a living space so people could, take their kids and have a nice day. They can go on a slide or whatever. They can run through the park, and it's all, mowed and nice, and it's not trashed. And over the last, I want to say, 5 or 6 years, just around the time whenever the Epstein files really came into the mainstream, there has been a ludicrous amount of money, seemingly out of nowhere, flowing into the Mimesburg infrastructure. Complete renovations to a riverfront park, to a natural park / frisbee golf course, to soccer fields, to the public pool. These things are not small projects. Each of them are millions upon millions of dollars that in the past would have taken years to accomplish. Each one of those took about a year to complete very quick turnarounds. And the only way that happens in the modern day for a governmental entity is if you're throwing, I don't even want to think about how much money at it, but more money than you or me will ever even like almost get to for each one of those projects. And Miamisburg isn't exactly a very big town. It's not small. It's not small in the slightest, but it's not New York. It's not Cincinnati. It's a normal town. Not a particularly rich town either. I mean, I guess Larry Connor lives there, so by default that makes it a rich town. But here's what I'm getting to. As soon as this Epstein fiasco started hitting the mainstream, all of a sudden we're getting all of these. And not to mention, he's also buying up churches, renovating them. He's buying up everything else. He just recently opened up, now get this is a very interesting thing. He opened up a Dayton school for the less fortunate, the Larry Connor Dayton school, whatever. It's for poor kids with no future, like K through 5th or something. To me, attached to all the other stuff that I'm inferring here, that sounds very much like a NFL draft for pedophiles. It's like, here's the school for kids you wouldn't mind going missing, is more or less what that reads to me like.
Something else I'd like to talk about is the connection between the Epstein class and Epstein as a whole, the island and all that, and with the big scandal that came out somewhat recently about Epstein or his people and school photos. So he was using, like, we were all fucking taking pictures in school, you know, class photos or whatever for the year. You'd all be in a line, you wear like a funny outfit or just something you thought looked nice as a fucking 8-year-old. And one at a time you go by. And it came out not too long ago that the people who were in charge of some of the largest companies that had to do with school photos were actually kind of like scouting for talent, scouting for, ooh, that little 8-year-old got a big old ass. You know, they were kind of crazy, and that's just no good. So if the corruption and the rot within our like vast spanning public works, like school photos, if you're an evil, like satanic, demonic person, that's a really good plan. But no normal person on earth is going to go, school pictures, every kid in America, that's meat and we can eat them and we can fuck them. No one's thinking that. But from one of these weird fucking freaks, it makes a lot of sense. The vague connection I'm giving here is, so the Larry Connor School started construction in 2017, and this is right around that whole time with I gotta work around my words here. I'm sure you understand. Italian flatbread with cheese and sauce gate, and pepperoni too. So that particular instance was going around, I can't remember exactly, but around that 2016 era. This school started getting built in 2017, well before Epstein was caught, and really at the height of everything being swept under the rug, everything being disappeared, fucking memory hold instantly. So by the time this unfortunate school was done being constructed by this shady fellow, it's 2020, like 2021, when this shit is out in the open, or at the very least, like, getting out there. Maybe when was it built? I'll put the little number down there. Point being, as soon as this school, because he's such a good guy, as soon as this school opens its doors officially, all of these motherfuckers are on their best behavior. It's red alert. Everyone knows their tricks now. It's just mighty. I'm not saying he did, but it looks like a fucking, oh fuck, I'm a billionaire, so now we got to keep this school open. I'm not gonna get a fuck any kids. No. It feels like that. It feels like now it's a tax write-off, and it gets to show just one more thing that Mr. Connor is so very happy with. Thank you, Mr. Connor. Thanks for opening a school for out of the goodness of your heart. I'm sure everyone really loves you for it. I got my eye on you.
As soon as this shit opened up, that's when everything got exposed, so he had to sweep that under the rug, and now it's just like a write-off. Who knows? But each one of these projects I was just talking about is millions upon millions upon millions of dollars. And In my own experience, they're currently building a pool. And this pool's been under construction for around a year now. And this pool has its own ties to plenty of fishy things, such as the Cold War nuclear programs and cover-ups over mass cancer dispersions in this town. But in the modern day, we are, whatever the budget was, I think it was like a couple million. It was a few million. But now they are currently, it is either $8 or $18 million over budget on this project. And I'm not sure if you've ever been, I don't know, $1 million over budget, but now multiply that by 18 and imagine that you're doing all this without necessarily jacking up the taxes on everyone in the town. It's impossible. You're going to go bankrupt or something. I believe, because the same thing was said, one of the rich donors, as one of my supervisors put it, one of the rich donors in Mimesburg was talking to them about renovating a brand new soccer field thing, and they're going to add in mini pitches is what it's called. It's like it's not even big in Europe, but it exists in Europe. It's a weird thing. It's a weird aristocratic fucking soccer, but tiny. And they were like, oh, talking to this rich donor, I believe it's Connor. The supervisor was like, yeah, we're wanting to renovate the soccer course, but we just don't have it in the budget. We're wanting to add, just do that, but we have just enough to make just the soccer fields look a bit nicer. It's like, well, how much would it cost for those mini pitches and the new playground and everything else? Like, oh, that's way too much money. There's no way we can fit that in the budget. Like, how much does it cost? He's like, I don't know, like $20 million. It's some ridiculous number. It's in the millions. He said, okay, fine, here's the money. I am not against philanthropic billionaires giving money to their own communities and giving, less fortunate donations. I'm not against that at all. But I'm saying with this particular thing, it is so flagrant with the help and so flagrant with spending money on everything. And it's only for, people interacting with city planners and with the mayor and with the high up local government that it seems to me like a goodwill cover-up play. It seems like Mr. Connor is spending shitloads of money on all these things so nobody in any position of power points their finger at him. I've read a similar thing from people who formerly worked for the Connor Group on certain Reddit threads and forums and whatnot. They said it feels like a shell company. It feels like it's a made-up thing when you're working there. It's just busy work, and they treat you like shit. They overwork you. They underpay you. Who would have thought? But whenever your own employees think that you're like secretly a cunt, there's something there. I've worked with plenty of places and the people are overtly a cunt, but I've never worked at a place and thought there's something fishy going on behind the scenes. It's just bad boss or whatever, which is very telling. On top of the astronaut stuff, and whatever you believe about space, you're not going to be a fucking like 60-year-old dude who's a Ohio billionaire and just be like, I'm going to space not once but 20 times. It doesn't make much sense. And yes, there are some Israeli ties to specifically the astronaut program, where there's certain Israeli astronauts who are on that mission too. Maybe there's connections there.
I would like to be fully open and honest in saying I can't, or at least I haven't found yet, any direct connection between Mr. Connor and Israel groups directly yet. The biggest thing we have is that on one of his flights up into the atmosphere, he was there with an Israeli astronaut, maybe a couple of them, and the fact that he's been donating quite a lot of money to politicians, mostly Republican, but also Democrat. We all know these people are on the same fucking side, let's be honest. So Mr. Connor was donating mainly, the biggest guy he was donating to is Mike DeWine, former governor of Ohio, and Israeli shill. Dude loves to kiss the wall. Big fan of it. Big fan of it. In the modern day, though, like I said, there's no real connections. Just people who are like tangentially connected with AIPAC or connected with Israel or bootlicking. I don't think they're directly connected, but I think that's like there's strings there to be pulled. Someone smarter than me can really expound on that. It's just another one of those things that makes me think this guy's secretly very shady. It's just really no good.
I went through Gmail, the like Epstein email website, and what I discovered was there's not anything directly tied to Larry Connor. There's an O'Connor in there somewhere, but there's no Larry Connor. I don't think that necessarily means he's innocent at all. I think if you're a billionaire and you're involved in all that shit, I think only the supremely stupid are the ones who have their full legal in that bitch. So that means he might be under pseudonym. It means he might have scrubbed the files, because scrubbing the internet is absolutely a thing. I know everyone online who's a mid-witted fucking dummy thinks that there's no way to, once it's on the internet, it's always there. You're never taking it off. If you have billions at your disposal and power in every aspect of life on whether or not someone lives and dies, I guarantee you can scrub shit off the internet. They do it with videos all the time. They do it with everything all the time. It's only some fucking like, it's on the internet, it's never going away. For the average person, that's true. For a billionaire, it is not. No rules apply to them. That goes the same for laws. So that's not to say Mr. Connor is exactly the guy going on vacation with Mr. E, if you will, Jeffrey Eggstein. But maybe his family members, maybe a brother, a sister, a son, who knows? I'm not exactly sure of his family ties. What I can tell is that he goes on podcasts sometimes and he does the classic, I'm a billionaire and I'm going to act like it was super duper easy or super duper hard for me, rather. It was so hard, I just had to work real hard and I got $1 billion and it was honest work the whole time. He loves stroking his ego. He loves going on places and having people be like, wow, Mr. Connor, you're so hot and sexy, I want to fuck your face. But you can fuck mine first, fuck my face. It's typical shit. I personally believe you can kind of read a book by their cover when it comes to people's appearances. I think you can look at someone and within a fraction of a second know whether or not this person is trustworthy, whether or not you want to be their friend, whether or not they're evil. The same way how I'm sure you've heard this 100 times whenever there's like a local kid diddler, let's say, like an EDP 445 who's looking for, he's only there for a cupcake. Typically in retrospect, everyone says, yeah, he had that look about him. He looked that way. He looked like a pedophile. In that same aspect, I think Mr. Connor, he has that look about him. I won't say what look exactly, but you can read between the lines there. So I'm trying to connect more dots. We're trying to find more things out. But this is a good starting off point. So first, I'd like to touch on what I mentioned earlier about the pool in Miamisburg being a bit of a touchy subject. Back in like the 40s and 50s, right whenever the nuclear age was really kind of kicking off and starting to go into overdrive to make bombs, nuclear reactors, and all the sort, warheads, Miamisburg was a home to a little place called Mound Labs. It was near a place that the locals refer to as the Indian Mound. It is a giant, think of it like a pyramid made out of dirt. It's the largest in all of North America, flexing on the rest of you. And there's plenty of conspiracy surrounding that as well, like with giant bones and whether or not there were any remains. No one's allowed to excavate there. They did it with the turn of the century with the Smithsonian going around burying a bunch of history. So there's a lot of conspiracy around that. Maybe esoteric, maybe occultism. No one really knows, not even around here. No one really thinks about it. All the locals just kind of, they know it's there, but they don't know anything about it. And really nobody does. Same with the Serpent Mound, which is relatively nearby. So Mound Laboratories was a place where my own great-grandmother worked and great-grandfather. It was top secret to the 10th degree. They told my grandma whenever she was a little girl and they were still working there that they made license plates for spaceships. Obviously, little kids don't know any better, so that made sense to them. They were watching like the Jetsons or some shit. But with all this nuclear stuff, there was plenty of waste being thrown everywhere. It was before they really knew what the fuck to do with like nuclear waste. I've been in there a few times due to some very crazy circumstances in my own life, and there are giant squares cut out of the concrete, and they're just essentially fucking like pitfalls in that place, where there was nuclear waste dropped and they had to cut it out of the concrete so there'd be no more radiation, or at least less of it. I've been through the whole thing. It is a Leviathan place underneath just a mountain of dirt. If you didn't know any better, you think it's just a hill, but it is literally like a fucking fallout vault in the side of this hill, this mound. So they were dumping all this waste, and there's allegedly still a few irradiated bodies of water near there. But the runoff was cascading down the mound it was built upon when they were dumping it, who knows where. And it went straight into, at the time, what was the public pool at the time. Currently, in the modern day, it's a skate park because they had to bury it under who knows how much dirt and asphalt. But in the current day, it's a skate park. As soon as they couldn't take any more radiation and everyone was popping up with cancer and deformities and birth defects, to this day, people are getting cancer nonstop around the area due to this. At the time, they offered the mayor at that time and lifelong mayor of Miamisburg up until he died, Dick Church, Old Cock Temple, as some people call him. He was given an offer. He said, look, or rather, the people went to Dick Church and they said, look, you might be able to sue us for all this damage you're causing you and your countrymen, or we could write it all off and we can get you a brand new pool. And the old dickhead said he wants a pool. Then again, potentially, there might have never been an offer. He might have just been told, we're going to give you a pool and you're going to shut the fuck up about it. That seems a lot more likely, but the local legend is he was offered. I don't think he was. Dick Church was an all right dude from all accounts I've seen. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he did sell us all out. Fuck him. Anywho, people to this day are still getting cancer. So the reason I bring this up is Miamisburg and its council have a history of fucking over their own people for money or for upgrades or for whatever you want to call it. There's also, allegedly, I've talked to a few business owners around the area, there's allegedly holy shit, there's a fucking centipede right there. Ooh, that's gross. There's a rich person council. There's a, I don't know what to call it, like a cult? No, not a cult. I don't want to be that fucking misrepresenting. There's a group of rich people who allegedly give people the yays or the nays on what's allowed in Miamisburg. So you have the mayor, the city council, and then you have this like puppeteering millionaire, billionaire cabal that if they like you or not, they'll let you stay or make you go. Apparently this business owner's brother worked for them as like a handyman of sorts, and they're like very secretive. No one really knows who they are, and if you ask about them, they won't really tell you. Then again, the person who told me this isn't exactly the most trustworthy. They're gossipy. I won't say it's false, but that's something to keep in mind, and it does align with everything else I've been saying. As for the modern day mayor of Miamisburg, she is a real estate agent. Even as a mayor, she's a real estate agent, and what she's been doing is she's been buying out Miamisburg properties, renovating the fuck out of that region of the town, and then selling them for buku bucks profit, gentrifying the fuck out of the area. I'm not against upgrading your city, but I am against you being the leader of a city, choosing where to upgrade, and then making a profit off of it. You can go fuck yourself, bitch. I hate you. And I think all of this aligns to the perfect storm of what once was a peaceful, nothing burger town, slowly morphing into like a like a black hole in the middle of Ohio, where there's governmental interference, there's nuclear poisoning. There, allegedly, my stepfather, he was a HVAC guy. Oh, there's a little snail. He was an HVAC guy, and he was working for a guy a few towns over. Allegedly, he was like some type of like nuclear, either enthusiast or he's a scientist. He had knowledge on the subject, and whenever they were shooting the shit or whatever, whenever he mentioned that he lived in Miamisburg, my stepfather, the guy said, I would never live 10 miles up or downstream of that place. Do you know what the fuck they did? And it's still there. So depending on who you ask, all this stuff is still going on. You still shouldn't swim in the fucking river. And it looks like this rot runs extremely deep. I think the mayor's husband's also a big guy somehow. But all these things are certainly things to keep in mind when I'm talking about all this. It seems like everyone is scratching each other's back, everyone's keeping stuff quiet, and the majority of the townspeople are none the wiser. They just think things are going very well. And they are. But there's definitely a price they're paying. A lot of people are being priced out of the town, being priced out of their own homes, they're being strong-armed, taxes are going up like crazy. The old pool, the one that was built after the one that got buried, so there's three pools. There's the old one that got nuclear radiated, there's the second one that was a cover-up for the first one, and there's the third one that's $18 million over budget that's being now. There's a big crack in the middle pool, and it was leaking millions of gallons of water, and they were taxing the shit out of the people. It's all gross, it's all yucky, it's all governmental ineptitude, and I do believe it is all connected. Somehow. I did want to add in that my local family, my in-laws, knew a guy who worked at said Mound Laboratories, and there's literally tens of people who, as soon as they quit from there or were fired whenever they closed up shop or whatever, people who had like high rank, like top brass access to certain information that a normal person shouldn't have, there are like plenty of examples of them killing themselves, or their brake lines going out, or them disappearing. And I have plenty of family stories about that, about certain people who had suitcases that was in their closet before they died, and their colleague went to go get it, and then that colleague died. It's all very, very fishy, and it's all stuff that, if you're not a retard, it's not unheard of. It's very, very, very heard of. There's plenty of fishy stuff going on.
I would like to take a second and talk about the Connor Group headquarters located in Austin Landing. I believe it's still in Miamisburg. It's in like a weird, like border lanes between 3 or 4 cities of, Miamisburg and a few other cities. Centerville, Springboro. Now, if you take a look at this building, it looks like modernist trash. It kind of looks edgy, kind of looks like a razor blade, or maybe, I don't know, like something you would step on and you'd be really mad about it, like a shard of glass. And I would like to talk about the airport it's stationed at currently. It's stationed at Wright Brothers Airport, I believe it's called. It's a local landing strip to the town. And obviously this place looks like a fucking like evil villain headquarters, which it is. It is. It's where the fucking League of Evil live. In and out of there all the time. You have uber rich people going in, going out, never touching any of the peons around the area, because why would you? Now, local legends surrounding the airport, plenty of people believe that I'm going to preface this. I don't fucking think any of this, but plenty of people around here hold very strong beliefs that within that airport there are or have been aliens stationed there for like, they came from Wright Brothers Airport, Air Force Base, to this airport for like staging, or it's like a more low-key place to hold little gray men or something. I just wanted to mention that because if by some fucking chance there's an alien connection to all of this, I might as well tell you, because his fucking Temple of Doom is right there. So if there were aliens, if there was any like governmental spook shit going on, he's also involved, because of course he is. Because of course he fucking is. Do with that information what you will. Fucking, if aliens are involved, that's fucking crazy, right? What the fuck? God damn.
The conclusion of this continues to be the same thing that every video that talks about this is typically about. Why do we allow powerful politicians, billionaires, and leaders to literally rape our people, our most vulnerable people, the women, the children, sometimes the men, steal from everyone, continue to war upon us in ways that are not comprehensible to the average person? Our food is poison. Our entertainment is poison. The taxing is killing us. The regulations, the zoning laws, the distant cousins allowed into our countries, the evil that is allowed to run rampant within certain realms of things that are objectively horrifying, horrific, whether that be people not from here committing crimes against the populace, or people who are wealthy committing crimes against the populace. The only people who are persecuted, hunted down, and ruined are the citizens. Everyone knows this, whether you're left or you're right, whether you're apolitical or not. Everyone can see that there's... Calling it two-tiered is offensive, because that means that there's two parties playing the game. There's not. There's only one party playing the game, and that is the average citizen of the United States, or Germany, or Britain, or you name it. It is only one class that gets persecuted. Everyone else gets to play for free. And this video, I'm going to give as much evidence as I can. I'm going to hopefully put some ideas in your head. But the truth of the matter is, I was raised in America. I was given American schooling, and we were beaten over the head for the entirety of our school lives, kindergarten through senior year, that peaceful protest is the only thing that works. And if you think back to the trauma that was your public schooling days, you probably heard about Martin Luther King about 50 times every school year, and you were told peaceful protest like a MK Ultra keyword your entire schooling. Historically, peaceful protest is not the way to go. And it's a very hard pill for people who were born in our generation to follow, because that sounds yucky and hard and bad. That's what bad guys do. Bad guys do that. We can call these evil sons of bitches everything in the world. We can broadcast it on television. We can protest holding signs. But the easiest way to stop that is with a mute button or fucking blinds. It means nothing to them. And it will continue to mean nothing until somebody decides to get the fire under our ass that we need. I don't see that happening, but I hope it does. I'm not saying do anything. I legally can't. Thanks to our freedom of speech, we can't say anything that goes against the system. But you can figure it out. Until then, keep your family close, keep your friends close as well, and make sure there's not a bored billionaire near you. Man, we're fucked. Bye-bye.